If you do have, thank you, Esther. Go ahead and put them in the chat at the bottom. That way we can keep the presentation going. And we always try to leave time and build time into the end of our presentation for questions so that we're not just talking at the group the whole time. This is the Somos DLI Parent Meeting, November 9th, 2022. We are getting started. Thank you, Esther. Again, this is your story, your voice. If you are new here, some house rules, please keep your mic on mute. Unmute when you do need to speak. Use the chat box for questions. I guess we do mention it. I just forgot. And this meeting, of course, is being recorded. That way we can put it in our archives and share to other families that might not be present. I am Ashley Peak. I am the president of this group. My email address is there should you need to get a hold of me. We also have Jacqueline Murillo, our vice president.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome, Jackie. Thank you. And we have our secretary, Allison Urungary.
Hi.
Thank you, Allison. We are a group made up of parents and educators. We also have Esther Garcia, our coordinator for English learners, TK through 12.
Sorry about that. Hi, I'm Esther Garcia. Welcome and thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Esther. Welcome. And we also have Patricia Thetford, our TOSA for Dual Language Immersion K through 12. TOSA, if you don't know, stands for Teacher on Special Assignment.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Patricia. If you do want interpretation for this meeting, please click that globe at the bottom of the screen. We have just started trying to translate these meetings into Spanish captions for when they are recorded and on our website. That way they can be accessible in both languages. Tonight's agenda, it's slightly changed from what was advertised. Instead of math, we're starting with Maravillas, language arts. We will also discuss tutoring for grades 3 through 6 and 7 through 12 and upcoming events. A little bit of history about what this group is. Somos is meaning, of course, we are. The goals of our group are to provide resources for DLI families to ensure success, to foster communication between school sites, parents, and district, to enhance engagement of all stakeholders, encourage ideas and opportunities for students, and help develop a roadmap as we travel from kindergarten all the way to the end of high school in this program. Okay, Maravillas, and I believe we have Patricia Thetford.
Once again, my name is Patricia Thetford, and I welcome you today. Today, we're going to be talking about Maravillas, which is our Spanish language arts, and I'm really excited that you're here with us. So today we're going to be looking at a few areas of Maravillas. We're going to be looking at the student at-home resources that are provided not only for the students, but for the parents as well. We're going to be looking at the Maravillas student dashboard. And then we're going to have questions and answers about the student dashboard. And then towards the end, I will show you some supporting resources that you can use with your students from kindergarten through 6th grade. So as you know, Riverside Unified School District is dedicated in ensuring that all students and families have the necessary resources to support learning at home. So today we're going to look at the Spanish language arts, and we're going to provide that information of the resources that are available to you at home and online. You will see the Maravillas curriculum is filled with a large variety of materials and tools for your student. We're going to be looking at some of the physical materials that your students should have at home to access during instruction or independent practice. Also, some of these books are consumable, which means that they can write in them and they do not need to be returned to school at the end of the year. And some of the books are non-consumable, which means that they are not to be written in and eventually need to be returned back to school at the end of the unit and or at the end of the year. The first book is called the Reading Writing Workshop. This is the main instructional text used in Maravillas. This is a non-consumable book that students will be reading and referring to throughout their learning. In kinder and first grade, they have several of these textbooks, but from second through sixth grade, they have one book for the entire year. In this book has short reading text with questions to help your students understand the reading. The next book is Your Turn Practice Book. And this is where students make the connections between what they're reading in the writing workshop and some activities that they can practice at home. And this is where students write and practice their skills that they've learned throughout the day or the unit. Some of the physical materials that you will see also is the anthology. The anthology is a book where the stories are longer, and this is a story where they are learning about different themes within the book that you just saw before. And this can be used with a teacher to provide more support and guidance. These tend to be longer stories. So the recommendation is always to read in chunks. That way they don't read it all at one time. It can be read out loud with a parent, or they can read it independently. There are some guiding questions throughout the story to help the students support the understanding of the reading. Also, along with the anthology, there's a consumable book for your students to interact with the stories and the skills that they learn. And this is called a Closed Reading Companion, which is the Guía de Lectura Atenta. Another book that you will see is the Reading Writing Workshop. Esther, can you go forward, please? This is the first book that is called the Reading Writing Workshop. The instructional text is used in Maravillas, which we just saw in your turno. For some reason, there was a repetition, I think. Here you will see this is another physical consumable book that some of the students will have at home, or they will keep in at school to work with the teacher. And if your student is an English learner, they will have also this ELD work text to support their language development needs. Keep in mind that this is only for English learners, and not all students will have this companion work text. So all DLI students have a Clever account, and through the Clever account, the students have access to Maravillas in Clever, as you see here. Once they go into Clever, they will see the icon that says McGraw-Hill, and then from there, they will see their Maravillas and or Wonders book. For those students in upper grade, 4th, 5th, and 6th graders, they will have Maravillas, and they will have access to Wonders as well. The next piece you will see in the dashboard is a Maravilla student dashboard, and this is to provide information and support for students and parents with the resources and assignments for successful digital learning at home. And this dashboard is accessible from the Riverside Unified School District's Clever portal. The dashboard looks familiar. Hopefully, the dashboard already looks familiar to you. And this is a place where your student has access to the content digitally while they are learning and practicing at home. The little icon in the middle, you will see that represents, and they're going to be different by grade level. So if you have a student in second grade, this is what you will see, the fish, and perhaps if they're at another grade level, that icon in the middle will be different according to the grade level. When you first access your student's dashboard, you will see a window icon at the top left. If you can go back a little bit, Esther, go back. Here on the left, this is important because if you ever get lost within the dashboard, if you click the word Maravillas, it will always bring you back to this landing page. When you log into Maravillas, you will go directly to this home page where you're welcomed, and then you will see immediately the weekly concept and the essential questions of that week at the bottom of the screen. Surrounding the character are navigation icons that let the students quickly access the resources. And we're going to see that on the top, you will see a navigation banner that allows you to access the pages in the program. So let's go ahead and see the overview of this dashboard. As you can see, the surrounding icons are surrounded around the character, where you will have that opportunity to click on each icon and it will give you the name of the icon once you hover over it. These icons, the same icons that you saw around the character, are also available on all the pages in the program on the bottom of the screen. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at the content you can access with each of the icons. First is the to-do. The to-do section provides students with a list of work that they need to practice and complete. In addition, this is the area where students can access past and present assessments as well. The My Binder houses the students' current work as well as current test. Go ahead and go back, Esther. We're still on the, go back one. Okay, so here it says Mi Carpeta. So Mi Carpeta is my binder. Here is where it houses the current work students have, as well as a current test. So right now, there's an image on the left-hand side that says Trabajo Actual, which is the actual work that the teacher has assigned to the student. So we can see gramática, ortografía. So it's a grammar assignment, a spelling assignment, and then high frequency words, which is palabras de uso frecuente, and then vocabulary. On the right-hand side, where you see that red box, you will also see some games that the teacher might assign to go along with the skills that your student is learning. Now, let's go ahead and go to the words to know. Words to know give your students access to key academic and domain vocabulary that are infused in all of the texts that students will read during the week. So from here, you're going to select the vocabulary list on the pop-up that appears. You can click on any of the words to know and get a definition and an example of how the word is used. So let's say the first word that I would like to click is adulto, adult. So then you click And then on the next screen, you will see from here a picture, an image of the word. And you can also click the audio button to have each word's pronunciation and definition read out loud in Spanish. And at the same time, the sentence will be read out loud as well at the bottom of each image. The next icon is the right icon, o escritura. The right section is where students can access Writer's Workspace resources. So let's go ahead and look at those. These resources are online mini lessons that are focused on a variety of facets of the writing process or the different areas of the writing process. Some of the teachers assign some of these areas, especially if they're focusing on a specific skill for writing of the week or the unit. Here we just see a lot of different skills that your student has access to. If you click on any of the wheel, then you will have access to some of those strategies. Our next icon is the games icon, juegos. The games section provides students with a wide range of games that support foundational skills, vocabulary, and spelling that the students will be working during that week or that unit. Here's an example. On the next screen, we're going to see examples of what your student might see for a week's worth of games. The teacher can also assign these games, and even within the unit, you can see the games that are provided, and your student can work on any of those games. They can have access to the games by clicking on the wheel, the black wheel, to open the game. The next icon is where you'll find the reading information of the week. The read section, or lectura, offers differentiated resources to each learner. Students here can access all of their ebooks for a given week. Here is an example of what you might find on a weekly basis. The readings are connected to the essential question and the theme of the week. The teacher can also assign specific reading materials for your students based on their reading level. And then here at the same time, you can click on that black wheel to have access to either the anthology, to either the Reader's Writing Workshop, or the little reader for each student at their level. And then she might also provide some readings for elements for writing or strategies for reading comprehension and the skills that they might be learning. Now let's go ahead and look. We're going to get away from the icons, but now let's look at the navigation banner. The navigation banner appears at the top of the screen. Here, first, let me remind you that if you get lost, remember, you can click on Maravillas. Maravillas, if you click on that icon, it will return to the dashboard at any time. You can also click the Maravillas banner at any moment that you're away. And you just click it and it'll take you right to the beginning. Now, my binder in this area, that tab provides another way that students can access their work that they have for the week or that have been assigned to them by the teacher. And they also they can have tests that they can complete. So there, when you open my binder, it says mi lista de cosas pendientes. So here's some of my assignments that I need to complete. Colaborar. Here is the writing and research section, which provides a place where students and teachers can interact in a virtual environment, meaning that the teacher can pose a specific question and have your students create a conversation around the questions that either the teacher poses or that a question that you might have for the teacher as well. And the next tab on that banner, you will see resources, recursos. Here in this section, it provides the students with all of the resources in the program. So as a parent, you can search for additional readings for your student. So let's say that the teacher assigns a reading assignments or some reading selections, and they finished, and you want your child to read other books or they have extra time, then you have access to all of the resources for your student at that grade level. So for example, you will see the reading writing workshop, the anthology. You will have access to their workbooks, like the Guía de Lectura Atenta. You will have newcomer cards, for students who are just learning English. You will have all the resources that your student has in the classroom that is provided for them here in this area. And the same as all the other resources, you click on the black wheel and you can open that that workbook or that book, and then you can find the page and then they can read or they can, do the work there. The next section is de la escuela al hogar. Here is the school to home section, and it provides you with a letter of the week that syncs with the class calendar. So the teacher already has set up her calendar for the week or for even the month. Here, when you open the school to home connection, it gives you an idea of what the students will be working on and what is the focus of the week. In this example, the students will be learning about animal babies and how they are like their parents. So the students are going to compare between the babies and the parents, and it gives you an idea of what your student will be learning for that week or for that unit. And keep in mind, if you see here, it gives you the concept of the week, el concepto de la semana, plus it gives you the essential question of the unit or of the week as well. So that is a question that you can keep asking your student. ¿Cómo se parecen las crías a sus padres? How are the baby animals similar to their parents? So that essential question is important for you to keep asking after a reading, after they're doing their homework, because it all comes back to that essential question of the week. Now, there are other tools that are available also in the navigation banner, which includes notes. So if you click on that little pencil, it's actually an area to take notes. If you click the ABC, area, that's the course glossary. So it gives you like words that the students are going to be learning, or concepts that they're going to be seeing in their week or in the unit. And then, of course, if you say busca, which is search, this is like your search bar to search anything in the program. Here you will have connect, ED, and salir. Here is to click log out to exit the program here in the right hand corner. Now, here, of course, you exit to exit the program, but if you click on the connect ED, it will return to the book bag. Here will take you back to that area where you want to see everything for your student. Okay. On the next one here, what I've done, I know that even though you will have access to the video of this presentation, I've also included some videos to introduce you to the student dashboard in English and also to the dashboard in Spanish. So I've given you a digital presentation on Maravillas, but I've also given you a video on the presentation for Wonders for K6 and the difference between K1 and the difference between second grade through sixth grade. I've also included how to have access to the digital resources in Maravillas, in English and in Spanish. So all these parent support is a link. So if you click, it will take you to a link. It will take you to a video or to the resources that I have included here. Are there any questions about the student dashboard?
Senora Thetford, there's a few in the chat, and the first one is simple. It was just, is this the same for all grades? And I think you mentioned that, but if you can reiterate that first.
Yes, that's a wonderful question. Yes, this student dashboard that I presented to you was specifically for second grade, but the student dashboard is going to be the same for all grade levels. The only difference is that icon in the middle, per se, like that animal. It's going to be different. It's going to be per grade level. And what is in their book, that's what's going to be presented in the middle of the dashboard. But in all of the dashboards, it's going to include all of the areas of the to-do. It's going to include the writing, the games, the words to know, and all that information, the vocabulary. It's going to give you the same access for every single grade level from kindergarten all the way through sixth grade. Yes, and the same is true for Wonders, because some of the students in DLI have both Maravillas and Wonders, especially in the 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, because 50% of their time they're learning in English, 50% of them are learning in Spanish. So the dashboard is the same. Of course, the dashboard is going to be in English for Wonders, and the dashboard is in Spanish for Maravillas. Thank you for that question. Any other question?
Yeah, the other one in the chat, and if anyone else has questions, please add it to the chat, is this person joined late but was looking for a link to access the resource. So if you can explain how parents find Maravillas, I believe it's on Clever, but if you could explain that, that would be great.
Yes, so I know right in the beginning, you're going to have access to my presentation, but the students have access to Maravillas when they go into Clever. Riverside Unified, has given every single student access to Maravillas and or Wonders through their Clever. So when they go into Clever, they're going to see the McGraw-Hill little red box, and it says McGraw-Hill. They click on that, and then it takes them and gives them a picture of their textbook, and then they click in that, and then it'll take them directly to have access to all the materials that I have seen, and especially the student dashboard. Any other question? Good question.
Yes,
Yeah,
Patricia.
the other.
Oh,
Oh, go ahead, Jackie. You can translate. I asked my son to translate for me, so I was going to go ahead, but you go for it.
No problem. Tenemos dos preguntas en español. La primera viene de Daniel y está preguntando, ¿se tiene acceso a cualquier momento? And the translation is, could we access this at any moment?
Yes, that's the wonderful thing about Maravillas and Wonders is that you have access to Maravillas at any time. And I know that one of the links that I included to have access, you can even put access into your phone also, or your iPad. So if you look at that page that I have given you, it'll give you directions of how to have access not only on the computer, but on your phone as well. So yes.
Thank you, Patricia. One more in Spanish. ¿Se puede pedir al maestro personalizar algunas actividades de acuerdo a lo que necesite el estudiante? Translation, is there any way that we could ask the teacher to personalize the activities for any activities for the student specifically?
Yes, very good question. So the teacher usually assigns gives assignments to the students as a whole class. So let's say that they're learning about pronouns, and let's say that the students have that same assignment, but also the teacher can assign specific assignments, books, readings based on the student's needs or the student's reading level. So the students can, one student can have, one set of assignments, but then student B will have totally different, assignments or reading based on their needs and based on their reading level. So yes, you can also ask your teacher if she can assign specific assignments for your student based on their needs or their reading level as well.
Thank you, Patricia.
Any other questions? Okay, one more thing that I want to show you that I do have as a support, another way that you can support your students, if Esther goes to the next screen, is how else can I support my student? I know that you have shown me the student dashboard, but I want to, what else can I do as a parent? So if Esther goes into the next screen, one of the things that is really helpful is that your student reads every single day. Your student is not going to get better in reading if they don't practice at home. Yes, they read at school, they look at the text, they practice at school, but practicing at home is also important. And most important is being able to read out loud. But in addition to that is for you to read to your student as well. Either read the books that are provided through Maravillas or through Wonders, or if you have books at home, you can read to your child in your primary language because they are still developing the vocabulary, they're developing language by the way that you read to your students, because they need you as a role model to read out loud so they can get better and they can gain that confidence. So one of the things that we've included here also is questions, because once you read a book, you just don't want to read the book, but you want to start asking questions about a character, about where the story is taking place, like the setting, or what is the problem to the story? Or, can you in your own words tell me what happened in this page? Why is the character sad? So you can ask many different questions. A lot of times we don't know what to ask at each grade level. So what we've done is that we've provided you with questions for each grade level in kinder, first, second, third, 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. And we've provided these questions not only in English, but we provided these questions in Spanish as well. So one of the things that I did is that you have the tinyurl.com. If you put that in your computer, it will take you there. Or if you click on any of the cards here, I linked the card. If you click to the card, oh, wonderful. Thank you, Esther. So they're called bookmarks. So what you can do is that you can print the bookmark and keep it on your desk, keep it on the refrigerator, put it inside the book. And you can see that by grade level, here is, what is the story about? You know, what happened when, and then you talk about that. So you're going to see different questions, and the same questions are going to be in Spanish. So this is a little presentation of all the different bookmarks for each grade level for your students. Here's first grade, and then you're going to see how the questions go from one grade level to the other, and they become more difficult. So let's say, what I recommend also, if your child is a first grader, yes, ask them those questions in first grade. But sometimes some of the questions might be too difficult. It's okay to ask questions from the kindergarten card. Or if you see that some of the questions are really easy for your student and they answer them right away, then go ahead and go into the second grade bookmark and ask questions from there. So you as a parent have that opportunity to be able to go from one grade level to the other. Thank you.
Senora Thetford, we do have another question in the chat. And maybe you have a tip. If I don't know Spanish, how can I help my first grader with Spanish books? Is there English translation for Spanish books?
Is there an English translation for the Spanish books if you cannot read? Yes, so Wonders, that's a really good question. I know that Mrs. Garcia and I are looking for a way to provide the English version of Wonders for Maravillas for the students that are in Spanish and are only learning in Spanish right now, let's say for first grade, because a lot of the stories that are in Spanish in Maravillas are also in Wonders, but not all the stories are the same, because what Maravillas has done is that they've taken some of the stories in English and they have translated them, but they have also included stories that are authentic in Spanish, meaning that they're not a translation, but they're a true authentic story only in Spanish. So a lot of times those stories will not be available in English. So Esther and I are looking for ways for you to have access to the English part of it. And once we find that out, then we will share that information with Ashley and the team, so they can place that on the Facebook parent page or also the Google site for the parents. Okay, we will do that for you.
And this is for grades K through 3rd only. 4th grade through 6th grade, they do have access to both Maravillas and to Wonders. So parents, you are able to see the English and the Spanish side of Wonders and Maravillas for 4th through 6th grade.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Esther. Any other questions?
I think we covered them.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much, parents.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
So my child's school, they're offering an intervention program in DLI on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 2 to 3. I'd like to know how are the students selected? I guess, is there a criteria?
I know that the intervention is based on specific needs of students. And right now they're looking at the foundational skills that the students might need support, or the reading level that they're at. So I know that all the schools are really, their main focus this year is phonemic awareness and phonics. They want to make sure that the students have that support that they need to be able to read. So if your child has been selected for an intervention program after school, it's based on the need of that student. So not all students are going to participate. It's based on the needs. And depending on the site, you can ask your teacher, how are students selected, and they will be able to tell you.
Yes. The other thing, parent, is that if your child was not selected, you can please go to the main office, go to speak with teacher like Mrs. Thetford said, or speak with the principal, because under the funding that California provided to all of the school districts to make up for the distance learning, the COVID 2 years that we had, they are funding this after school intervention or even before school intervention and tutoring. And under COVID funding, all students qualify. However, as you know, sometimes our teachers are a little bit tired. They really are tired. Some of them are willing to work after school. And so that's why we have to limit the number of the students. However, if you see the need, if you see your child needing that extra support, do not hesitate to go to the school and request, because under the California Expanded Learning Opportunities grant that they provided, all children qualify.
Yeah, I went and I asked, and I was told I was informed it's full already. They'll reconsider during the next round.
Yes, and that's the fortunate thing, is that we will have other rounds. And so, however, if you want to send me your name, your child's name and information, I definitely can contact the school and see what we can do for your child. If not this round, then definitely next round.
Okay, I'll send you an email. Thank you, Esther.
Yes. Mhm.
And then keep in mind, a lot of the schools do have the Hearts program after school as well. So that is something you might want to consider as well, that you can ask the school about.
There are a few more questions in the chat about that intervention program. I would say we're running out of time, but it kind of feeds into the tutoring topic as well. So maybe it's okay. But the other questions are just about when is it starting at DLI schools? I don't know if that's on a site-by-site basis or if everyone's starting at the same time. And just if a site doesn't have teachers willing to do this, what's the plan? That again might be a question for the principal, but if either of you have insight on those items.
Yes, and it does tap into the next topic that we are going to be talking to, tutoring opportunities. But just to answer the questions, all of the sites will have some form of intervention before school or after school, and they will have different sessions. This will all schools will participate all year long and into the summer, and the after school program Hearts will also extend the hours and the opportunities for multiple students to attend. So parents, you will have multiple opportunities for our students to participate in tutoring, which leads to our next session. So I don't know if Ashley wants to introduce, or it kind of introduced itself.
It kind of introduced itself. I agree. I do have one more question though, just before we jump subjects.
Yes.
I got a private message sent asking if sixth grade is also using Maravillas and the Wonder Books. I guess a parent in our session now has asked their child if they use these in class, and they have said no. So can you explain that?
Yes. So,
Go ahead, Patricia.
go ahead. So yes, all the grade levels have Maravillas and Wonders. Also keep in mind that they are a lot of teachers use the science and the history as part of their language arts as well. So even though they have Maravillas and they're using the skills that they are provided for each unit, etc., and they're covering those phonics skills and writing skills, they're also using based on, especially in sixth grade. I know that sixth grade, they are languaging social studies and Spanish, and they're languaging science in English. So they might be using the content also to support, that language literacy piece and that writing piece as well. So even though they are using Maravillas and Wonders, doesn't mean that they use it every single day, because they're also might be using the content to do the literacy portion of it as well. Unless Esther has something else to include, but
No, that's what they, that's pretty much their curriculum. However, I do have to say that through Clever, our 4th through 6th grade students do have access to both Maravillas and Wonders. If the parent needs the child's login to Clever so that you can see the resources he or she has in Clever, please email the teacher so that they can send you the login, and you will see the great thing about Clever. Maybe we should have a presentation on Clever, right? Maybe Ashley, we can talk about that later, so that the parents can see all of the resources that are in Clever accessible to students. The reason we purchased Clever in the district is because before Clever, we used to have multiple logins and depending on the program we had, right? So we expected the kids to remember not only all of the programs, but all of the websites and
passwords.
logins. Passwords, yeah, and passwords for the multiple programs. The great thing about Clever is that everything accessible to your child, depending on the program, of course, is in Clever. Maravillas is one of the programs that it's in Clever, along with Wonders. So parent, email your teacher and ask them for your child's Clever login and password, and you will get to see all of the programs available to your child in Clever.
I know that Teresa Clark has her hand raised.
Hi, I was just going to add us a 6th grade teacher. Sometimes what we do is we will take from Maravillas or Wonders, and we will incorporate it into an assignment on, let's say, Google Classroom. So that way it's all housed. And so it might not look like it's a Wonders or Maravillas, but that's where the skills, and like Patricia shared, it might be the skills or the strategies that we're using from the Wonders, but we're looking at it through the lens of our social studies and science to maximize the time we have to language properly with both languages. So it might not be recognized as going into the Wonders like Patricia just showed, but those skills are coming from that scope and sequence that we're following, just to clarify.
Thank you so much for being here. What a great surprise, Teresa. We always appreciate you. Okay, any more
My pleasure.
questions? Any more questions?
I think you're safe to move on now. Thank you, Esther. Thank you, Patricia.
Can I say something really quick? Bianca Corrales. I was able to link up, I want to say it was during COVID, I was able to link up my own email to my kids' Google Classroom. So like you can actually go into your kids' Google Classroom, check their assignments through there, and it also links up to their Clever. So if that's what you guys would like to do. I have a Google email, so through that I was able to add my kids' emails to like the little waffle where you could add all your accounts. You can add your kids' accounts that they have through RUSD, and you can go into their Google Classroom through there. So just another tool to check on your kids, their work, a lot of the apps that they have on there, that's another way. So I just thought I'd add that if anybody needed it.
That's a great tool to have. So Ashley, maybe that's another idea for a different presentation, and maybe Mrs. Corrales can show us how to do that. I don't know how to add Google Classroom to my waffle, so maybe she can show us how to do that.
Absolutely, that's a great idea, and it's a part of the way that we can get through online learning with 2022 and helping each other learn these things. That's how we do it. So definitely, maybe the next session.
Right, right. Oh, great ideas are coming up from this presentation. Thank you. Today I'm going to be talking about tutoring opportunities, which we do already, and which we will have available for our DLI students. So one of the things that we are working, and is usually around this time that we work on our high school tutors tutoring program. This is where we recruit high school tutors to tutor our elementary students. For the past 2 years, we have used the tutors for language development with kindergarten and first grade. All of our high school tutors are supervised and supported by a certificated teacher or certificated substitute teacher. These teachers help our high school tutors not only to create their Google Classrooms and links, their Google links, but they also help our students with any of the curriculum that we need and are presenting in regards to oral language. The tutor sessions are 2 days a week for 30 minutes each session. We have to consider that these are high school children who do have a lot of homework for the periods that they have, but they also have extracurricular work perhaps, and or are participants in sports. They have very, very busy schedules. And for this new session that Mrs. Thetford and I have began to plan and design, we'll be focusing this year on 3rd through 6th grade students. As I mentioned, for the past 2 years, we've had a focus on kindergarten and first grade to help them with the Spanish oral language development. Now we are going to transition to 3rd through 6th grade, because 3rd grade students did also have some challenges in learning through distance learning. So we want to make sure that we focus on their needs and to try to catch them up. One of the things, parents, that I will recommend, highly recommend for you to use, and it's completely free, is Duolingo. If your child is struggling with the oral Spanish language, then please have them sign up, create an account for them for Duolingo. It is very similar to Rosetta Stone. The only difference is that Rosetta Stone might have a lot more resources when it comes to visuals and assignments than Duolingo. But then again, Rosetta Stone is a paid or license paid program. Duolingo is completely free. I used to use it as a principal. I used to use it with my parents who wanted to learn English. We used to have kind of like a mini ESL class where they would come in. We had computers for them, and for an hour they used Duolingo to learn English. It's a wonderful program, and again, I repeat, it's completely free. So take advantage of this program. For grades 7th through 12th grade, we do have paper online tutors. The program is called Paper, and this is for 7th through 12th grade students. The wonderful thing about Paper is that your child can access this program 24/7, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, anywhere they are in the United States. It covers all subjects, including chemistry and physics. These two subjects are pretty difficult to find tutors for, but this company does have tutors for chemistry and physics, reading, writing, poetry, mathematics, all the way to calculus. And the best part of this program, what I like about this program is that your child doesn't just come and say, tutor, I have this program, can you help me? And then the tutor gives them the answer. The tutor guides your student on how to work through any problem they have on any subject they have, including history, science, social studies in the writing piece of those subjects, or even understanding the piece of history and science. Spanish is available. That is the other great part about this program, that if your child needs support in Spanish literacy or just their Spanish course, in any history or science or any of our Spanish courses in 7th through 8th grade, they can get tutoring in Spanish. Like I mentioned, it is accessed at any time, and it is based on student login. So again, if you need your child's login and information on how to use this tool, if you want to learn a little bit about it so that you can support them to access it also, email your teacher and ask them. The students all should have gotten this information early on in the year, but if they haven't shared it with you, just email the teacher and ask them for the login. If the teacher, for some reason, I don't see them not giving it to you, but if for some reason there's a challenge with you getting that, feel free to email me or Mrs. Thetford. We will get these logins for you.
Also, the nice thing about the online tutors, the paper tutors, that they will help your child with their writing assignments as well. They will read their essays and, you know, give them suggestions, and just help them, you know, complete their essays as well.
Yes. So take advantage of these tutoring opportunities. For the, I did not have a date here to start, but for the grades K6, Mrs. Thetford and I would like to start this program in January, right when we come back from winter break. Our high school tutors are just finishing their first trimester. We cannot start them off in December. I think we did that last year, and it was a little bit hard because December is kind of they're preparing for finals and for other assessments, assignments, competitions, and so forth and so forth. So they will be rested after winter break, and that's when we will begin the K6 tutoring program. The focus again will be on 3rd through 6th grade students. Any questions regarding the 2 tutoring programs that one, the paper tutor is already up and running. You can access it anytime. The K through 6 tutoring program that we are preparing, above and beyond the other tutoring programs that you should have available through the sites, our program is completely an extra program that we provide for our students. If you have any questions, please feel free to email us, let us know, or ask us right now. Okay, if no questions, I will.
Looks like there's one question.
Okay, yes.
Linda's asking, how will we get the info on the K through 6th program? Email?
Yes, we will email all of the parents the information for tutoring, because our focus will be on 3rd through 6th grade. We will email the 3rd through 6th grade and an application. We will push out an application for you to apply for the tutoring program. We will review the applications very carefully. We will start with 3rd grade students, depending on how many spots we have. We will offer 3rd grade students. If we have enough spots for 4th grade, then we will move on to 4th grade also. One of the things that we are going back and forth, because it will depend on how many teachers we have available, we also want to invite some of the teachers to be tutors on top of our high school tutors. We want to make sure that we have enough tutors to perhaps expand this program to more than, let's say, 20 students. We don't want to limit that. We know the need is really high right now. The 2 years of distance learning truly impacted the learning of our students, and we are working, we're working really hard to think outside the box and in supporting our schools and our students. So we will have a survey. We will send out a brief memo to all of the parents. I know that Ashley will help us by posting the notice on Facebook. We will send out an auto dial that the application is ready on our website. We will invite all of the 3rd through 6th grade parents to apply. We will review the applications, and then based on the need, we will assign a tutor in a tutoring spot to the children. Once we select the students, we will notify the parents via email that your child has been selected. We will pair you up with a tutor, and the times, we will give you the times and the links. Also, we will include the links that you can enter in and the start date as when the tutor will start tutoring your children. So all of the information that you will need will be sent to you directly. After you tell us, of course, on the application that you're interested in our tutoring program.
Esther, there is just one more question asking about the timeliness of tutoring and why it is that we don't start this process at progress report time.
First, I'm going to go all the way to the beginning of the school year. The beginning of the school year is very, very challenging for not only our staff, but for our students, getting our program running and courses and just, giving time to our students to adjust to their new grade, to their new teachers, and then to their new programs, their new homework assignments and whatnot, right? Especially our students who participate in sports and become very busy with all that. So the first trimester is really hard to adjust. So we give them time to adjust. We do not, after or before fall break or winter break, this is when our students are really getting ready for finals in sports, for any competitions they may have. And then other events. We have many events, as you know, during the holidays. For our students, it's very important that they are prepared. So this is really coming from our students, but from the very first time when we started this program, the high school tutoring program, this came actually from them, that they seem to be just very overwhelmed at the beginning of the school year through Thanksgiving. We used to start this program right after Thanksgiving, but we heard loud and clear from them, especially last year, that the first set of finals was just really overwhelming for them, getting used to it. So, we have to think about it. They are young kids, especially our 12th graders right now. They have senioritis. They just want this year to end, and they finished all of their education with you. So there's a lot of factors really that we have to take into consideration. But the biggest factor is really having a conversation with our tutor, listening to their needs, making sure that they have a voice in this, especially if they're going to be volunteers for this, and us being accommodating to their needs. So if we could start this program sooner, I would love to start this program sooner. And that's why Patricia and I, we just looked at each other one day when we were planning for this. I was like, why don't we just ask our teachers or our substitute teachers that supervise our tutors to join in the tutoring so that we can start a little bit earlier next year, but also so that we can expand and have more people available for the tutoring. Because this tutoring program, believe it or not, is very, very popular. I hope I answered your question. Basically, we follow the needs of our students.
We do have one more question, Esther.
Yes.
Sorry, I've lost it here. I found it again. Amy writes, how is the district monitoring the success of these various tutoring options? My child worked with a high school tutor during the first grade, but it was not successful from my point of view.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's not successful. We do monitor the success rate of the students and their progress, not only through their success in the classroom, but also mainly through the assessments, through the district assessments. As you know, we do analyze the data, and we do follow the students. We do make a note of the students that we serve, and we do follow their achievement from the beginning of the year. How did they score to the middle of the year? By the middle of the year, they would have had a few weeks of tutoring, and then towards the end of the year, did they do a little bit better? So the success rate for us has been positive. We've had 75 to 80% of the students who have done actually increased in achievement. Our DLI achievement is it's very good. It does very well. But for the students, when we follow them, they actually do increase. Am I going to say all of the students? No, we do have some students that struggle or continue to struggle despite the extra support that we provide to them. Okay, and those are the students that you know we definitely talk to the teachers and the principals about as to what else can we do to support them.
And keep in mind that in our tutoring sessions, our main focus was the development for oral language skills, and we were not tutoring specifically for math. We were not tutoring specifically for reading levels for reading, even though, you know, some other tutors read to the students, but it wasn't like, okay, I'm going to teach you how to read. It was more to develop those oral skills, especially, you know, our past 2 years that the students didn't have that much time to be able to practice the language. So it was based on the need to develop oral language skills, and we're going to continue doing that as well.
Yes, thank you, Patricia. Okay, any more questions?
One more question is asking when specifically to expect the tutoring to start at Washington.
We're going to offer it to all of the schools. So the start date will be the second week after we come back from winter break. The first week we come back is, you know, letting the kids get used to back to school. You're gonna have them 2 weeks and then getting back, and then right after. So I can't open my calendar because I'm presenting, but that the second week after we come back from break, we definitely will start that date.
You will get all that information
Yes.
once we begin the process.
Yes,
Thank you, Esther.
you're welcome. Okay. If we can now move on to, if no more questions, I mean, were there no more questions? I should have asked that first. Okay.
I think that was it.
Okay. So now I'm going to move on to just quick updates. Reminder to our parents to please spread the word that our DLI application is open right now. It opened on November 1st and it will close on December 9th at 4:30 p.m. I have had several parents who have emailed me or called me and asked me, why do you close it at 4:30 p.m., not at midnight, you know, when the day ends? We close it at 4 p.m. because that's really when our work ends, especially our secretaries. They go home at 4:30, and I cannot expect them to work beyond that time. Our secretary is the one that takes care of opening and closing our DLI application. So I'm sorry, but our day does end, and we do like to go home and have dinner and a little bit of family time. Even though I work way beyond that at home, like right now, it's you know, it's I think it's not reasonable for parents to ask us to stay awake up to midnight just to keep the application open. So it does close at 4:30. You can find the application at riversideunified.org/forward-DLI. If you put /forward-DLI, it takes you directly to our DLI page. You don't have to go through any other tabs. This one is direct linked. So please, we do have, the good news is that we have about 70 applications more than we did last school year and in previous years. We've had a great response from our parents who are applying for our program. Dates to calendar, to put on your calendar, fall break is coming. Your children will be on fall break from November 21 through the 25th. They return to school on November 28th. And parents, do not forget, if you need a transfer, even if you're not a DLI parent and you want a transfer to a different school, transfer window closes on January 6th. Do not miss this window, because once it closes, our district will not open it up again until the following year. Okay. Okay, Ashley, it's all yours.
Thank you very much, Esther, and thank you, Patricia, both of you, for carrying the weight of this meeting. We have no meeting in December, so this is our last one for the year, but we invite you back January 11th, 2023. My gosh, I can't believe that's coming up so soon. That will be our first of the year, and as you can see here, we have 4 meetings scheduled for the year, skipping March, or sorry, skipping, what's that other month? May, that's the one. And again, our next meeting will be at 5:30, also on Zoom. I think for the foreseeable future, we do plan to host these on Zoom. It's the easiest way to get all of the sites connected. I can't imagine everyone piling into a room and actually making it on time at 5:30. So you can count on that. And here's the link. It's always the same. Meeting dates are always the second Wednesday of each month. Should you need to contact Esther Garcia, her email address is there. Should you want to contact me, my email address is here. You can find us on Facebook at RUSD Somos DLI. We also have a Somos website. It's a Google site, which is where we post all of our old meetings, our old slide decks as well, including a massive book list that Patricia's put together that is age specific for our students. So please don't miss that. Maybe that's something else we can bring up for our next meeting to highlight. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving break, and we will see you next year. Thank you everyone for coming, and thank you Isis for translating on the Spanish channel. Bye.